Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Express Meditation. Hope everyone is well. Um, so I thought I would start just explaining a little bit for today's meditation. We've been meditating on these non-virtuous actions and the karma and how it ripens and how it manifests. So um, today we'll try to get through all 10 of them. Um, we'll meditate on each one and look at the specific results in the human life for each of the 10 non-virtues. Um, and I think this is helpful because, we're learning about these non-virtues, and sometimes it's hard to relate to them outside of the human realm. Um, and when we can just try to relate to them in the human realm, it becomes a bit easier, I think, because maybe we've had that experience, maybe a friend or family members had that experience. So we'll try to feel the experience. Maybe we haven't had that experience, but we'll try to embody that experience of that um, element of suffering. So it gives us a taste, gives us the possibility to recognize and to develop our renunciation, to say that we don't want that. We've already contemplated what are the causes and how does that work. But now we're, looking at the result and saying, if that's what it is, developing the disgust to not want to have that result. So yeah, just sharing a little bit of background of where we're gonna go today. So um, we can start by, checking our posture, making sure we're in a comfortable position, bringing our attention, our mind, our body into this session. And maybe we woke up this morning a little agitated. Maybe our mind is wandering. So try to ground ourselves, feeling the weight of the body sitting on your chair. Just feel this mass that's sitting here on the chair. And then become aware of the breath. You notice that without even thinking about it, the body is breathing. We can observe the breath at the tip of the nostril, the sensation of the air passing through the tip of the nostrils. And we'll place our attention there, just observing it, observing this passing, the inhale, the exhale, right at the tip of the nostrils for just about a minute, just sharpening our focus. And now with this razor sharp focus, we bring to mind our motivation, giving our meditation purpose. I'm thinking about the motivation to become a Buddha, become enlightened, be free of suffering, be completely clear in our thoughts, but not just for our own sake, but for the sake of all beings, all humans, animals, insects, all the spirits that we can't see. So be motivated by all the suffering beings out there. And to really understand this suffering, we need to We need to analyze it. We need to bring it into our heart. We need to feel it. So we can look at the specific consequences of non-virtuous actions. And the ripened effect of each of the uh, non-virtuous actions is rebirth in our lower realm. And of the effects similar to the cause, the tendency in each case will be to repeat similar non-virtuous actions. So we can look at each of these, the resultant experience of a negative karma when we're reborn as a human. And we can look at the environmental effect of each of those as well. So we bring to mind the non-virtue of killing. So this non-virtue of killing, one will experience a short life. One will have poor health. You may be killed by others. You'll have many troubles. You'll have no success. You'll be reborn in a violent environment with wars and conflict. You have difficulty finding food, medicine, all of which are needed to sustain the body. So just thinking about all of those results in the human realm. Just think a moment about, I know someone that experiences some of those results. and how they suffer. And now we can bring to mind the negative action of stealing. So taking something that doesn't belong to you. In this human existence, it'll ripen, it'll manifest as a lack of wealth, a lack of resources. And even when you do gain things, something does come into your possession, it'll be lost, it'll be stolen, it'll be destroyed. And your environment will be a barren place where crops don't grow, or maybe the crops are frequently destroyed and business fails. And I think we've all witnessed this ourselves with our friends, our family. And I think we tend to say, well, that person just has bad luck. They just can't get a break. And now we can bring to mind the negative action of sexual misconduct. And so the result here is that we'll have difficulty sustaining relationships. We'll be quickly separated from spouses, friends, family, coworkers, all relationships, all acquaintances. And your environment will tend to be dirty or filthy, disorganized. So maybe you can bring to mind somebody that you know and someone that tends to go through relationships, whatever the type, intimate, friendship, whatever. Could be that they lie to their friends, they cheat on them, they steal from them, they treat them poorly, verbally, physically. And we can only imagine how painful it is for this person to continuously break relationships. And for us as an observer, just watching this, just being a witness, the pain that arises to see that they don't see they're the cause of the breaking relationships. And then we can bring to mind the act of lying, of not telling the truth. So here, the uh, result when we're reborn is that Others won't believe you, or they won't be able to distinguish whether you're telling the truth or not. And you'll keep similar company. So you'll live amongst cheats, con artists. You'll be surrounded by people that you can't even trust. And I think we've all had a glimpse or a feeling of this where you go to someone and you tell them something that's the complete truth, but they just kind of look at you and they don't really listen or they don't really believe. Or maybe they just don't care at that moment. And it could be something really important. Or maybe you know of someone that nobody listens to. And it doesn't matter if it's a truth or a lie, but they're just not heard. And we all know what it feels like when we don't feel like we're heard. It's painful. So it's a good practice to be observant of how this karma manifests, how it manifests in our human realm. And it helps develop our compassion for others because we see these every day. And we can use this observation to enhance our compassion and think that may those suffering from these non-virtues, may they end their suffering quickly, and may that suffering never return. And we can dedicate all of our virtues that we developed through this meditation, through the contemplations, through enhancing our compassion, and dedicate to all those that are suffering, especially those that are in unbearable situations and places of war or famine. May their suffering cease immediately.